Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. Residents of Fauquier-Strickland find out emergency funding is coming through.
Services, no matter what, are still going to be bare bones for the foreseeable future.
Council outlines the conditions for the community from the province. Plus, digging deeper into North Bay's mayor's expenses.
We wanted to point out some of the more glaring issues in those expenses that were submitted.
Two residents with FOI requests meet with the Integrity Commissioner. And is allergy season worse?
It is expected that asthma flares will become more severe as the allergy season will intensify.
Experts say climate change is impacting our allergies.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Ian is on assignment. Residents of Fauquier-Strickland got to hear a bit more about how the community will use emergency funding from the province to keep it afloat in the interim. A group of residents were at a special council meeting tonight to ask questions and hear how $300,000 from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing will be used. That interim funding was provided earlier this week after the township announced it was in a financial crisis. The small northern community accumulated $2.5 million of debt and had said many of its services would come to an end August 1st. That plan has been halted, but the provincial funding for just operations will only help in the short term.
Just so that everybody's got the understanding that services, no matter what, are still going to be bare bones for the foreseeable future. We do need to pass a budget this month, in the month of August, before August 31st. The budget, if you read the minister's letter, the minister does expect council to adopt a budget that meets the municipality's needs and reflects the fiscal responsibility for the expenses the municipality has.
The provincial funding is meant for the next 3 months, and the township must provide records to the ministry. Meanwhile, during an announcement in Sudbury, the minister fielded questions about Fauquier-Strickland. He says it's a very concerning situation and it's time for the township to take a long, hard look at what the future looks like and what it needs to do to get the financial house back in order.
Got officials from the ministry working with them. I don't want to speculate on what the exact solution is for that community because I think there's still work to be done to assess how this happened and what can be done in the future to avoid it happening again. So we're taking the opportunity again with an injection of cash to keep the services going, but also that opportunity to keep talking with them, understanding what's going on and create a better path for the future. But I don't want to suggest what the solution would be at this time.
And we get more from CTV's Lindsay Alick on why the minister was in Sudbury.
Okay. The check is unveiled at City Hall. $1.52 million from the Building Faster Fund, which was established in 2023. It was designed to encourage municipalities to address the housing supply crisis.
We're rewarding those municipalities who build homes because we know that you cannot build homes without access roads, sidewalks, sewer systems, and more.
The province set a target of 317 new housing units for the city, and officials say not only did they meet that target, they nearly tripled it, achieving 840 units in 2024 alone.
It goes a long way to certainly provide housing opportunities because we have commercial opportunities that we're developing, but the housing has to follow. And that's where in the housing crunch here, we at all levels of housing. Right, from your market housing right to shelters and just supportive housing, right? We need to have all of them addressed.
The mayor says this money will likely be used to create more lift stations, which he says will open more land, which will in turn create more housing opportunities.
We have hundreds of millions of dollars in needs when it comes to our infrastructure. That being said, every piece of funding adds up, right? So this funding is going to certainly go into our pot, right, of funding that we have received in the past and money that we have allocated as a city as well to address these needs.
The funding announcement follows one that happened in Sault Ste. Marie yesterday. Officials say 50 communities across Ontario will receive funding through the Building Faster Fund. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
A 41-year-old Kirkland Lake man has been charged with 2 counts of luring a person under 16 years of age. OPP executed a search warrant at an area home and seized a number of electronic devices Tuesday. Police say the safety and protection of children is one of their top priorities, and parents should help protect their children by talking to them about online safety. Break-ins into vehicles have risen this year, leaving some Sudbury drivers wondering if their theft is being investigated by police. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Break-ins and theft have been common, according to Deborah Browse, who has worked in downtown Sudbury her whole life. But she has had enough after the latest theft of her purse. Browse said she left her purse inside her car, parked in her driveway for a few minutes when she ran inside the house to get her sunglasses.
I was super frustrated that, I had left my car door opened for a minute and that happened, but I was really happy that I do have banking alerts on my cards.
Browse says that she is frustrated with what she believes is a lack of police response.
I think the frustration is that there seems to be no repercussion for things that are done, and the petty crimes downtown. We are supposed to have police support, but it seems to be few and far between. I'm hoping that it gets better.
Browse is not alone. According to the Greater Sudbury Police Services, from January 1st until July 27th, there were 68 instances where vehicle window smashing occurred, up from last year's same period with 29.
The Greater Sudbury Police Service takes every report of crime very seriously, especially in those high volume areas. We're always doing our best to follow up with incidents, and we assure everybody that public safety is of the utmost concern for us.
It definitely felt like an invasion of privacy when I walked into my car and I noticed that there was everything everywhere and stuff that was missing, and just because I didn't lock it, it made me feel like it was my fault.
When asked about prevention advice,
well, definitely make sure that your cars are locked, but also make sure that you have cameras around your property, because if I did have a camera around my property, maybe the police would have been a little bit more perceptive into finding the person.
It's just so multi-layered, multifaceted, so it turns into a more complex police investigation, and those things do take time. But again, GSPS is committed to solving those crimes and holding offenders accountable.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
2 people who filed Freedom of Information Act requests into North Bay Mayor Peter Chirico's credit card expenses had a recent meeting with the city's Integrity Commissioner. They say they're optimistic after a 90-minute interview. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
Kevin Ferris and his friend Nicole Pelletier filed FOIs into Mayor Peter Chirico's expenses from 2023 to 2025, and recently were interviewed by a lawyer representing Integrity Commissioner Guy Giorno.
I think we gave him a lot to think about, and we didn't initiate this process. The mayor did.
The Integrity Commissioner has been investigating Chirico's expenses since he requested he come in, after an interim budget analyst flagged anomalies in the city's finances. Documents show Chirico used a corporate credit card on $16,000 worth of personal items in 2023 and 2024, which include dog treats, car washes, gas, golf membership fees, and a Nissan car repair.
We wanted to point out some of the more glaring issues in those expenses that were submitted.
Outgoing CFO Margaret Karpenko flagged CAO John Severino and recommended Chirico's card be revoked. But the spending continued in 2024 and even this year. The documents show Severino approved the expense reports.
I don't understand how we get to this point, and, we need to get to the bottom of it. And to my mind, the mayor needs to resign and the CAO should be relieved of his duties.
The city says Chirico turned his card in on July 4th. Meanwhile, City Council recently turned down a second opportunity, led by Councillor Tanya Vrebosh, to hold a special council meeting into the matter.
I know that I can hold my head up high. I've done what I can, and now I have to wait for the rest of council to start to pull up their socks.
The people aren't going to forget. I think they're mistaken in trying to take this approach, and it's not going to work.
Vrebosh is left wondering now, what she can do.
I've got nothing left up my sleeve. I've tried everything I can. If they're not going to listen to me, maybe they'll listen to their constituents.
Emails to the Integrity Commissioner about when the report will be made public were not responded to. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
An oil spill on St. Mary's River near St. Joseph Island is now contained. Algoma Public Health recently lifted a water advisory which advised locals not to consume or use the river for recreational purposes if they're in the affected zone. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, I'll look at the current conditions. We do have a special air quality statement for parts of the broadcast region. That smoke is still lingering. And looking at the current conditions, Timmins, 9 degrees, lots of clear conditions across, a little bit of cloud for Elliott Lake, Sudbury and Gore Bay. We'll be back with those details in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Kicking off your weekend with the forecast radar, let's have a look and see what's in store for the next couple of days. Maybe a hint of precipitation throughout the northeast by about noon tomorrow, but it won't last too long. We've got some warm temperatures, some sunshine, and maybe the odd shower or two over the course of the next couple of days. Here's supper time on Saturday at around 5 o'clock. Kapuskasing, Timmins, and perhaps even North Bay and maybe parts of Sudbury as well. Now those 7-day numbers now over the course of the next couple of days. Sudbury Nickel Belt, humidex of 26 tomorrow. Sunshine Saturday, Sunday 27-28. Chance of showers at only 30% Monday, the holiday. Tuesday, Wednesday, sun and cloud at 26. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, UV index of 7 for tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, sunshine at 24. Chance of showers Monday, 30%. Tuesday, Wednesday, sun and cloud, both days around 24, 25, which is pretty well average for this time of the year, and more sunshine to return on Thursday. A look now at Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, humidex of 25 for tomorrow, risk of a thunderstorm. Saturday, some sun and cloud at 28, dropping down to 25 with the chance of showers Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 26 and 27, your normal this time of the year, 24. Meanwhile, in Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, UV index of 7 for tomorrow at only 22. Saturday, Sunday, sunshine, 26 both days. Chance of showers Monday at 24. Tuesday, Wednesday, 24 and 26. Some sun and cloud. Thursday, more sunshine at 28 as things start to perk up just a bit. And one final look now at North Bay, West Nipissing. UV index of 7 for tomorrow at 22. 27, 28 Saturday, Sunday. Loads of sunshine. Monday, well, the holiday. Chance of showers at 24. Tuesday, we've got 26. More of the same on Wednesday. Sun and cloud at 26 and sunshine on Thursday. Perking up to 29 degrees, well above normal for this time of the year. So, Angela, this is what we've got for the next little while. We've got some warmer temperatures, chance of precipitation, and some overall nice weather for the long weekend. Back to you.
That's great news. Thanks, Rick. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says his province is throwing everything it has at dozens of active wildfires in Northern Ontario. But he says what's really needed is a national strategy.
So when we were at the Council of Federation last week in Muskoka, this came up that we need a national fire strategy because we know when the floods are coming, we know when the fires are coming, and we need to be prepared. So I'll do anything for our great firefighters and invest as much as we can to make sure that we have the equipment to knock out these fires as quickly as they can come.
A zero-tolerance approach. Those were the words from the provincial police as they prepare to enforce safety on the roads. As CTV's Rob Cooper reports, police say there will be an extra focus on those not obeying the move-over law.
The long weekend often means long delays and congested highways for people looking to get away, and today was no different.
The highway was terrible. We got on the 407 right when we hit close to the 400 barrier, it was just nonstop brake lights.
The trip to cottage country is well underway. Hundreds of thousands of people over the next couple of days taking advantage of the upcoming long weekend, but not without a few issues along the way.
Maybe tailgating, so that you'd worry if you have to stop that they're right behind you.
Police are reminding drivers everywhere they'll be out in full force looking for bad drivers.
Again, we're focusing on speeding, distracted driving, seatbelt use, and impaired driving. And this weekend, there's also a focus on the move over law.
That means drivers are required to move over when they approach a stopped emergency vehicle on the highway. Police are also sounding the alarm about unsafe and unsecure loads.
And that's dangerous. That could cause a collision. It could go through somebody's windshield. People can get injured. And even worse, could lead to a fatality.
The price of regular fuel was sitting at just below $1.40 a liter this morning. Drivers well aware of what lies ahead for the coming days, some even preparing for it.
Police, radar. Every long weekend they put radar out on the highway.
And you don't like that?
Of course not. I mean, I go 118 or whatever. But yeah, on long weekends, you're guaranteed to have police out there.
Now, again, police are calling this one of the busiest long weekends of the summer, and they're reminding drivers across the province they will be out in full force both on the ground and in the air. Rob Cooper, CTV News, next to Highway 400.
Ontario is reporting dozens of new cases of measles. There are 54 new cases, including the 40 from the Sudbury area last week. That new cluster is linked to several private gatherings and led to exposures at public locations. That brings the total number of cases in the province to 2,352 since an outbreak began in October. Health officials say the cases are predominantly in unvaccinated individuals. Timmins District Hospital is welcoming some new doctors. The new hires are part of the hospital's ongoing efforts to recruit 10 new doctors to the area. So far, the Timmins Physician and Recruitment Campaign has brought in 5 doctors so far this year. 2 were brought on in January. If you thought this allergy season seemed worse, some doctors say that's because it is, and climate change is driving the increase in severity.
We also should not forget that when you have allergic rhinitis and pollen allergy, it can also flare asthma. And asthma can be a severe disease that is also associated with fatality. So it is expected that asthma flares will become more severe as the allergy season will intensify.
People with seasonal allergies are encouraged to explore different treatment options with doctors. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's working with Canadian telecom providers to try to ensure remote First Nations have reliable access to the internet. It's in the wake of his decision to cancel the province's contract with Elon Musk's Starlink.
I had meetings with them actually last week and saying, hey, we got to get moving on this. And it's unfortunate we had to cancel that, but I can't deal with a guy that, well, I guess the divorce happened between him and Trump, but the guy was attacking our country, and I just couldn't do it.
Yesterday, Ontario announced it would pay a fee to end its $100 million contract with Starlink. That contract was announced last year to deliver high-speed internet to thousands of residents in rural and northern Ontario. In March, Ford said he was killing the deal when Trump moved ahead with his tariffs. Many people are still enjoying their summer vacations, and that means renting a car in Canada or another country. There are many different rental companies to choose from, and they all can have different rules about who they'll rent to, including how old you are. CTV's Pat Foran has the details.
My whole mission in this is just to let people know.
Carol Ann and John Jenisak of Oakville recently visited with family in British Columbia. Before they left, they made sure to book a rental car. But when they got to the rental counter in Victoria, they got a surprise.
When John handed her his driver's license, she said, "Oh dear, I'm sorry, but we can't rent to you because you're over 79. Which we had never heard of before.
Carol Ann was still 79 for another 3 months, so luckily she was able to rent the car as long as she did the driving, and John, who is 85, didn't get behind the wheel. The couple says the situation could have been worse.
If you had a trip arranged and you put the deposits on hotels,
that could be quite costly.
The Genesacks rented a car with National Car Rental, whose parent company is Enterprise Mobility. A spokesperson told CTV News the National Car Rental branch in Victoria, BC, sets its own policies and procedures. Their age requirements for rental are outlined on their website under key facts and policies when you begin a reservation. Every rental company is different, and some don't have age restrictions, but some do. You could be denied a rental car if you're over 79 years of age, over 70 outside of Canada, if you're younger than 21 or 25 years old, if you have limited driving experience, have a bad credit rating, if you don't present a valid driver's license, or you don't have the proper form of payment. Most rental companies won't accept cash without a credit card on file. Last year, CTV News did a story with Brian Barnard of Etobicoke, who was denied a car rental because he wanted to pay with a prepaid credit card.
It was frustrating to go all the way there and then to be told that, you won't take my form of payment.
If you're planning to rent a car, you'll want to check the fine print to make sure your trip goes as planned. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News, we meet some furry friends who help reduce stress. Construction is underway on an advanced mining training center in Sudbury. These photos come to us from Technica Mining, showing the work that started. This center is designed to support the growing skilled labor shortage in Canada's mining industry. What makes this center special is that it's being built in conjunction with the Atikmikshing, Anishinaabe and Wanapate First Nations. Through the partnership with local Indigenous communities, Technica hopes to create meaningful pathways for Indigenous workers entering the mining industry. Once completed, the center will offer hands-on training in a real underground setting for both new and experienced workers. Often the best medicine comes from 4 paws and a wagging tail. The Pets as Therapy program at Sudbury's hospital has been around for 4 decades, providing comfort to patients who need it most. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
These furry volunteers have a very important job to do, providing some positivity to patients at Sudbury's Health Sciences North.
We have some special guests.
Yes. This is the Pets as Therapy program, now referred to as Angels on Leashes. It was started by Rita Terry's veterinarian 40 years ago, and she's been a part of it right from the get-go.
We're very much in demand. We go once a month to each floor. And we could be going 7 days a week, but sort of have to limit. And I try to have about 8 dogs, 6 to 8 dogs at each visit.
There are 21 dogs and 20 volunteers in the program who visit 19 floors in the hospital, including the emergency department and the cancer clinic. Volunteers are always needed.
There is a commitment that you have to make, no question about it. We come to the hospital 3 times a week during the year, normally. But again, it's, as Rita told you before, it's the best job in the world. And the payback is both ways. So if you're looking for something that really brings you joy and you can bring joy to other people, it's a great thing to do, to share your dog with somebody.
There is science behind all of this cuteness. Research shows that petting a dog can decrease cortisol levels, otherwise known as the stress hormone. Terry says the program benefits patients and workers at the hospital, and it's not hard to see why.
Just to see the expressions on the people, and the staff will say, oh, she's been depressed, she hasn't said a word in ages, she's so depressed. And the smiles, they just, you can't help but like doing it, because it just makes your heart feel good. It really does. I can't explain it any better than that.
You can see people walking down the hallway and all of a sudden a smile breaks out on their face when they see the dogs. And you know you've made somebody's day better.
Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
It was a good day of golf and a great day for the Canadian Mental Health Association Algoma. PUC Services hosted its 2nd annual charity golf tournament benefiting the CMHA. 144 golfers hit the links at Crimson Ridge Golf Course in Sault Ste. Marie this week, where they raised $30,000 for CMHA. PU Services has helped raise almost $50,000 over the last 2 years. And that takes us to the end of our newscast this Thursday night. Remember, for the latest news anytime, you can head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching. Good night.